Hi, this is a story of a very special coffee shop set in the 1950s. Well, we have heard of Teh, but this shop has got a different name, peculiar name. They call it Kopi Korek. For a cup of coffee, you know, you will have a pretty girl, sit by your side and chat with you, you know. Yeah, for how long? I'm not sure, probably you'll have to order more drinks to be able to chat with her for a longer time. It was situated at the far corner in the Padang of Anson Road, near my school and my house, primary school. So we used to, when we walk to town, to the movies or to the market or to buy things in the night, I would hear the blaring of music, and these women would be there serving the customers. Well, they were very pretty girls, as you can see, all sexily dressed, and the men, young men especially, well, I think patronized by Chinese and Malays. The shop was open, run by the Chinese proprietor, they open from 7 until midnight. Naturally, they have the license. I haven't heard of the place being raided, but they were pretty girls. So for a cup of coffee, you'll be able to sit with them. And just imagine, a coffee at that time would have cost maybe 20 cents. Probably, well, I don't know about the tips. I've not heard anything about, people giving money, but we have heard of brawls, fights, but yeah, in Anson those days, fighting, brawls were not that serious. They may get hurt, but nobody really got seriously injured or killed. Fighting over girls was a common thing, very common. So anyway, most of the girls were Chinese and Malays. The songs played were P. Ramlee, Saloma, Elvis Presley, Cliff Richard, Ricky Nelson, you name it. The age of rock and roll. And also occasionally we have the singers who come and sing, So it was, it was the hideout, a hideaway. But it was very, very popular among Ansonians. But there was no raid by the police. Probably they have a license. But if they had they have any clandestine, affair, we wouldn't know. You agent for the night, maybe they are escorted home by the eager suitors and young men who came mostly on bicycles, So, but most of the patrons I noticed were, Malays, young people, especially those who, yeah, he made some money selling things, they didn't go back, So probably from the rural areas now that they sold their fruits and they just waited for this, and then you enjoy themselves and go back in the night. But it was here for quite some time, I think. When I left town in 1962, it was still around. Probably it was, I think they had to close or they were outdone, by nightclubs or night spots, where they can do things away from prying, eyes, from prying eyes, especially, when you go to this place, people look at you unless you're out of town. If you're local fellow, tomorrow will be a talk of town. So probably I think most of the patrons were from the rural areas, So Malay boys and Chinese villagers, so nobody could recognize them. So I think with the advent of night sports, So probably this was, yeah, had to close down business, although cheap though it was. But then become it was not an eyesore. It was a really interesting place. I don't know when it closed down. It closed down, but it couldn't compete with the other night spots. So that's how it wound up its business. There was only one shop. Of course, I in any town, Teluk had brothels, prostitution, but that is a different thing altogether. These young girls, most of them are very young, from maybe 16 to 20, all right? So this is a famous place. This was a famous place, Kopi Korek. You ask anyone from Teluk, he would know. Anson Road, Padang, opposite this primary school. The field is still there, empty. The shops, those days, are still around, but not that particular coffee shop. Because the shops around it, the small town, were just yeah, just build up, planks and zinc, that's all. Okay, so that's Kopi Korek for you. And he asked anybody from Teluk, and you will know. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.